Hi guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to grow maples from seed. So the first thing that you need to know about maples is that there's two different kinds, at least in the northern hemisphere where I live. I'm not really sure about the maples in the southern hemisphere, or even if there are any. I'm not sure about that. But where I live, you'll have soft and hard maples. And those are just slang terms. They're kind of like Appalachian slang. But basically soft maples are your silver and your red maples, and then your hard maples are the black and the sugar maples. And then there's also like the southern sugar maple. There's a couple different species in there, but generally those are the predominant ones, those four. Black maple to a lesser extent. But the difference between them is one, the wood, and two, the time of year that they drop. And three, the germination time. So hard maples have a harder wood. They're slower growing on average. Sugar maple is actually very slow growing, but it has a really hard wood that's really desired. And in contrast to that, red maple and silver maple, which are the soft maples, have a softer wood and they're faster growing. So they're less desired. Silver maple is kind of taking that to the extreme. It's super fast growing, doesn't have a very valuable wood. A lot of people don't like it because it drops limbs because it's so fast growing, and the wood is a little bit brittle. While the hard maples never really have that problem. And hard maples also make the better maple syrup. They have the higher sugar content, especially the sugar maple. The black maple can also be used. I mean, you can use any maple, but per gallon, the sugar maple tops for the sugar content. So the thing between hard maples and soft maples is soft maples drop their seeds in the springtime. So in less than a month, we're going to start seeing seeds dropping from red maples and silver maples. And another thing you'll see is a popular landscaping tree called a Freeman Maple. It is a cross between the silver and the red maple, and it has intermediate characteristics. The best way to tell them apart is by the samaras, or the helicopters. So the red maple will have a little tiny red helicopter about ½ inch long, while the silver maple will have a much larger samara or helicopter, which has a curve to it that is about 1½ inches long. So it's much larger. And then the Freeman maple will have an intermediate where it's red and in between the two sizes. So any of those three you sow in the springtime immediately. They're the easiest trees in the eastern United States to grow, in my opinion, because they're just one and done. You basically just pick up a seed off the ground, no pre-treatment whatsoever, shove it in the dirt. That's it. Whereas a lot of other trees, you need stratification, as is the case with the hard maples. So the hard maples, which are black and sugar maple, drop their seeds in the fall time. So they need stratification, which is going through a winter dormancy. So this is black maple. These are black maple seedlings. These were sown in October, and I collected these in the Baileys in Chauncey, Ohio. In October or September. And actually, I didn't think any of these were going to sprout, so I just threw all of them in a jar because they all looked rotten. Lesson learned, don't do that. Expect more germination, because I have so many of these right now in such a tiny container. And a lot of them are not going to do very well because of that. They're too cramped. But for these guys, they drop in the fall, you collect them, and then you put them in a pot. I mulch them heavily, and then in the springtime, like now, they'll sprout pretty early. I mean, this is like the first thing in my seeds to sprout, and they're almost all sprouted. It's crazy how many there are in here. And black maple and sugar maple, which are the hard maples, are extremely similar in characteristics. They have these small little samaras with a little fat seed in it. The wing is very small on these guys. They're slightly bigger than the red maple, though. with a much bigger seed. The red maple seed is really, really tiny. It's the smallest out of the 4. So yeah, these guys you sow in the fall and they sprout in the spring. These guys you sow in the spring and they also sprout in the spring. And these guys are a little bit fast growing, the soft maples. So these are both 1 year old. This was sown in the spring, this was sown in the fall. And this will surely outgrow this pot this year. This is only this size because it was in a tiny pot. So I would immediately, at least with your soft maples, put them in a big pot, 1 gallon first year, even probably not a 5 gallon first year. That's maybe second year. But I was just so limited on space, I couldn't pot all these guys up. But this guy is breaking bud already. And this guy's a silver maple, whereas these are black maples. And these guys are just slower growing. Just protect them, especially when they're young like this. You want to bring them indoors or put them in a really well defensed cage so no squirrels or rabbits or deer can eat at them for their first, until they get woody basically. And even after that, I had one of these guys just get shit on by a squirrel. He's dead pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Grow Native, have a good one.